Friday podcast of Gulrookh, another episode with Sharon. So I'm going to introduce Sharon with you guys today. We have a pleasure of speaking with Sharon Rolph, a remarkable retirement coach, author, and speaker whose work has empowered countless individuals to find renewable purpose and joy in their lives after retirement. With a background as a behavioral science from Boeing, Sharon brings a unique understanding of human behavior and motivation to her work, helping people reconnect with what she calls their inner spark. She is the author of Fresh Courage in Retirement, and she guides her clients to create meaningful lives by embracing their passion and purpose. In this episode, Sharon will share her insights on overcoming the challenges of retirement, discovering one's true sense, and finding fulfillment at every stage of life. Sharon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How are you feeling? Are you good now?
Well, yeah, the day started rough. Maybe that's typical of Mondays. I don't know, but it's getting better. Yep.
Definitely. That's cool. Okay. So I'm going to ask some questions from you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. Well, okay. Could you tell us about journey from a behavioral science at Boeing and to becoming a retirement coach? What inspired this shift?
Well, actually, my behavioral science was from probably City University, but it would be while I was at Boeing. Yeah. So behavioral scientists, a lot of people, in fact, when we got our degree, it's like, what job do we apply for anyway? Because it's not in the newspapers or the, career.com thing. So they said, well, look for human relation jobs. And I did like many of the human relation jobs, but they weren't quite what I wanted to. I never did apply for any human relation jobs. But my job at Boeing was to empower people. They were working at taking problem solving down to the lowest levels. And so I was a facilitator of process employee involvement and trying to empower people to step up and solve things but they'd rather blame management. It's their fault, management's fault. And it actually kind of under the radar, they were solving a lot of their own problems, but they don't want to give the management the credit, or take the credit either way. So I love empowering people and being a facilitator. Well, being a facilitator says I help your success roll out, that I'm helping you succeed. So I explain that best by saying I like to bring out the best of you. And sometimes we're too close to our own skin to be objective enough. So I often help people rewrite their resume because I could see some of your strengths that you can't see for yourself. I'm more objective, like a resume needs to be.
Definitely. So inspiring. So I really want the kind of some of the kind of people like you to be a lot in their life.
Yeah, I actually, that reminds me of my friend Barbara McCoy that I saw her complimenting young people. Her kids were teenagers or young adults at the time, and she would compliment them on something that she wanted to see more of.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, how interesting that she pulled that out of them with her compliments. And 15, 20 years later, I realized I was kind of doing the same thing. I learned from my friend Barbara. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. What was the biggest challenge you faced personally in retirement, and how did it shape the way you now help others?
Oh, good question. Yeah. I kind of started bouncing off the walls about 3-4 months into retirement. I thought, there's nobody to tell me if I'm being productive or not. There's not a boss anymore who says you got to get this work done, Oh, but I hate wasting things, time included. And by that time, I retired and started coaching school like a week apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we did in coaching school was to write our essence statement. Now, I I used to have a wall hanging here of it, and that I guess it didn't look professional enough to some people, and they said to take it down. So, but here's how my essence statement
Okay.
uh, comes across.
Mm-hmm.
I am precious jewel of wisdom. I am colorful collaborator, motivator, and learner. I am tranquil, authentic, and pure inspirer. I light fires. And now I want to help light your fire, everybody's fire, because when you know who you are on the inside, like when I first spoke that, I was standing amongst my classmates and we were reading our statement to each other. I had I felt like somebody had just asked me to describe my soul.
Wow.
Yeah, I had seen other people kind of move to tears as they read their statement. And after I read mine, yeah. So to tell you that I can help you define your soul, a lot of
Mhm.
people have no idea they can do that.
Yeah.
Surprise, here I am. I can help you.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you so much. It's like I feel like it's kind of like a new thing for our, young generation because they've never heard of it. It's like being a retirement coach is a whole new world for them. And for me too, because I've never experienced it. That's why I'm very excited to talk with you today. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You often speak about reconnecting with one's inner spark. Could you explain what this means and why it's essential for others and for
Uh,
retirees also?
yeah. Yeah. Well, your inner spark, I say, is another way of saying your intrinsic motivation,
Mm-hmm.
something that flows from you. My business is called Effortless Vitality,
Mm-hmm.
something that flows. And but I've instead of calling it my essence, I've decided to call it my spark because people say I sparkle.
Yeah.
So so if I can define your
Mm-hmm.
inner intrinsic motivation, then you might have a sparkle too. And I think that when when I live from my inner spark, I feel like it aligns a lot
Mm-hmm.
with heaven on earth. It resonates with your soul.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I've collected a lot of near death experiences, and when I love in collecting near death experience stories.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, when they bring back messages, they're often very, very similar. That you are loved, you are all you need to be. Well, but then they also describe all the beauty and the flavors and the colors and that that flowers sing. And so I be decided that I would stand and try to imagine all of that connecting with the cells in my body,
Mm-hmm.
and then saying, how does it change life back here?
Yeah.
And I think when you're living from your soul, your inner quality, I sometimes even refer to it your invisible assets. Your personality is inside. The things you love to do is inside. That's not written on you, you it might, if you wear a t-shirt that says you're a musician, people might pick up on that, but when it's inside, nobody knows it.
Yeah.
So us becoming aware of what is just underneath our skin inside is such valuable information.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I I want to set out to help people know themselves.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm going to speak in a couple days at a event here in town, and I'm going to talk about knowing yourself more. Because when you don't know yourself, you're more critical of yourself. You're probably more worried. I I stomped my foot and said I refuse to live my life based on fear a long time ago. I think it's what helps keep me young.
Definitely. So, you know what?
So
Yeah.
so knowing myself, it makes it easier to love myself.
Yeah.
What a difference that makes, you know. I since I've retired, I've lost 55 pounds, and that's a lot of it was from not criticizing myself anymore, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and telling myself, you're doing the best you know how, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Gets all those critical voices out of my head and just say, I'll take baby steps forward and I'm doing the best I know how. I
Yeah.
gave myself a birthday party when I turned 70, and I looked back at all the pictures I had from years before, and I wasn't that heavy. You know, I felt critical of myself. You know, you didn't compare and you're
Yeah.
not skinny enough or whatever. I looked fine. It's society out there that judges us, you know.
Big
Anyway, go
transition.
ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've heard that many people are scared of retiring because they fear losing their sense of identity. So what advice would you give to someone with these concerns?
Oh, that's huge, huge. Um, in fact, I remember interviewing a lady that she was forced to retire because COVID had come on, and she worked in a emergency room and loved her job. But 2 years before, she had gotten sick and was off work for a few months, I guess. But so they want to be careful. We don't want her to get COVID and all this. So we're going to lay you off now for your own good, you know. But when you don't have a business card that says who you are, you know, your title and your team, and kind of represents the tasks that you have, yeah, all that structure. When do you need to get up in the morning, you know, and when you need to, projects have to get done and all this stuff. All that structure is gone. In fact, um, I was just telling somebody earlier today that we get all these things from our job, a
Uh-huh.
positive
Positive
emotion. Yeah,
engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment.
it's
Yeah.
all gone, all gone. When
Yeah.
you retire, you have, okay, the main difference, uh,
Yeah.
Gulrookie.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's okay. It's okay.
um,
Yeah.
the main thing is that you now get to live from your heart. When you're
Mhm.
in a job, you've got to have the brains or the brawn, you know, to handle the job.
Yeah.
That's not necessary anymore. You have to live from your heart, which means you get to do what you want to do. I forgot what I want to do. I, my, I'm in such a monotony of going to work every day that, oh yeah, I don't know where I left my dreams, my heart, you know, my what I want. Maybe you enjoyed playing the trumpet in high school. Maybe you would still love to play the trumpet in high school, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you loved taking care of kids and that wasn't your career.
Mhm.
Find some kids to take care of. In fact, one of my guests, she was kind of a surprise guest because I thought I was interviewing her husband, and here she came on, and she had started a nonprofit called Unstoppable, and she said when she was going through a divorce prior to this, she just was so upset and so hurt and so um, heart was breaking, and some wise coach told her, well, I don't know if it's the same person. He said do something that's so big that it replaces the pain in your heart.
Mhm.
And so I guess he was working on a project to build homes for um, people in Tibet that didn't have homes, and so she asked herself, would building one home in Tibet heal your heart? No, I don't think so. Would building 10 houses? that's still not enough. And she wound up building 100 houses in Tibet
Oh,
to overcome the pain that was in her heart. But the nugget for retirement was do what you did for charity. So she said, if you're an accountant, find some charity that needs an accountant and just switch from your paid job to your volunteer job. It's a quick and easy kind of until something better shows up.
yeah.
So if you're a pilot, find somebody or some company or organization that needs people or things delivered.
Mm.
So that's an easy peasy kind of transfer your skills, but at the same time, start listening to your heart. You know, it does talk to you, and they say often, like when you're on vacation, you often come home with fresh courage. It might have been when you were watching the campfire burn, or watching the ocean out there, and in that silence and stillness, a voice was talking to you, and it might have scared you, but it also might have touched a really special place in your heart. And I make these little art blocks, and let's see if I can find one that.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the one I'm looking for isn't here right now, but this is a good one because I called my podcast that I did
Fresh. Yeah.
It's your time to shine.
Shine. Yeah.
Would you like to shine in retirement? It's possible. And of course, my book has on the front of it, explore the possibilities.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a 3-year-old, you're exploring all kinds of things in the world. And do they stop when they can't get the door open because they're not tall enough? Do they stop trying to get into your pots and pans? If they can't pull the door open, they keep working at it until they get it accomplished. Well, that curiosity can be so valuable in retirement.
Definitely. Because, I feel like you guys are experiencing a lot of things like year by year, and you are in some kind of age right now, and you realize all the things you've been through till now, and then you feel like, oh, I did good thing, or I did like a bad thing. I feel kind of like upset what I did, like, past years or things like that. So I feel like those are all kind of, realizing themselves in some kind of age, and, give some kind of passion for what they love to do.
We all want to have a job that has a purpose, and oftentimes our jobs don't line up with it. It's going off in a different direction. Now it's time to align your direction with your heart, and I can help you do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, appreciate it, Sharon. Okay, do you think everyone has an essence that can be tapped into? How do you help people uncover this in your coaching?
Uncover their sense of who they are?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a course that's been up on the Great Discovery platform just recently. It was only been up 2-3 weeks now, and I call it Discover Your Spark, Rekindle Your Joy. Because what's in your heart gives you joy and fulfillment. So there's 5 modules there, and I just tell you how to work through some exercises that helps you do like a term paper on yourself. How cool is that? So here's one of the steps that you do. One of the steps is to list 20 things you love to do. Love to do. Okay, when I was a teenager, I loved to bake cookies. I loved to put color together. I loved words of wisdom, and I even loved to sew. So this is a good example of what I love to do, but 20 things. And then we ask you questions about what about your personality do you like? I liked my personality that I'm responsible and I want you to take my words to the bank. Count on my words. You can, you know. Maybe the fact that you are a helper is something you like about yourself, example. All right. And then we take things like, what's your values? Values are very important because that's where our meaning for life comes from. So there's 4, 5, 6 more things that we do with your exercises that help you uncover what's inside and what really matters to you.
Wow.
And find it on Discover Your Spark, Rekindle Your Joy on the Great Discovery platform.
Wow. So in your view, what does that mean to leave a legacy in retirement? And how can retirees find meaningful ways to continue contributing?
Well, legacy can be several different things. It could be a financial legacy that you leave your kids. It could be projects that you do for nonprofits. Like back when I was a teenager, the Peace Corps was being established, and people going to help in other countries to dig wells or plant schools or plant gardens, let's see. There's a third. Your values is another legacy. Now, values, you could either pass them on verbally and recordings, or maybe you want to leave them in a book, the life lessons you've learned. And is there one more? Seems like there's one more. Leaving something that lives on after you, like building a building for, say, Boys and Girls Club kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a legacy is a very worthwhile project because it's like you're loving the future as it evolves. I have been thinking about that somewhat lately. On my bed, I have a wool ripple Afghan that I made way back in my 20s. And my aunt actually started it for me, and then I crocheted. I realized that, it takes 20 minutes to stitch across and come back again. So I would put 2 or 3 rows of on my wool quilt after I got home from work. And now I just turned 77 and I'm still using that wool ripple Afghan. It's got red and green and orange and yellow and brown in it. Most people don't have near that many colors in their ripple Afghan, but of course it's my version.
Definitely.
And it's quite nice.
Yeah, sure. And you know what? I've heard that the mindset plays a crucial role in our lives to achieve something or achieve some kind of goal that we wanted to have in our lives. So what do you think about that? Is that true statement? And people like talking about on social media, like you have to, put your mindset to one place and, think about all the things you've been through, and it's gonna like helps you to define yourself. So you have to clear your mindset in order to be a successful person or be a kind of like good personality, have a good personality. So is that true? What do you think?
Well, yeah, because so I was talking to somebody earlier on chat. He just turns 86. And he's really struggling with his wife died 2.5 years ago. And he's really getting bummed out about sadness. And he didn't ever use the word depression, but what's next and how do I carry on is just beyond
Mhm.
where his mind is going right now. And I tried to tell him he could live another 10 or 20 years.
Mhm.
Where's your curiosity about the next years and what's possible? He still has good capability to walk. He's got hearing aids that help him through the day with hearing people. He's a pretty good teacher, and man, is he a whiz solving problems. But somehow he can't see that in himself as this can help me get to the next 10 or 20 years and have another legacy perhaps. So that one of my favorite sayings I say is, I'm the one who stops me. I decide. Well, yeah, all you people out there might discourage me, but I decide if it actually stops me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he realizes that he has a choice to either dream something new or be curious about how, well, I think he's just deciding whether to buy a condo or senior living or just downsizing his house. But hey, if you've got a spacious house, you can invite 4 or 5 people in to share your house with you.
Mhm. Yeah. Because,
So
yeah. I
go
feel like,
ahead.
yeah, the first thing is that we have to experience or understand that we have to believe in ourselves. We have to give the trust. We have to be confident in order to, achieve something. Because the most important thing is ourselves. Because if we believe ourselves, we can do it better than others. I feel like this because when I first when I learning how to swim for the first time, it was quite a lot time years back. But yeah, when I was learning how to swimming, it was kind of like very scary thing for me because I feel like I'm gonna be sink, but somehow a coach is trying to give you help and guide you how to swim. But as long as you can't understand that you have to be confident, you have to believe yourself, you cannot swim. This is the thing. And yeah, I did that experience. I been kind of like a confident. I put myself on one courage, and I did that, and right now I am the best athlete in swimming. This is one of the motivation that I always think about myself, that once came to another kind of like experience that I have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, especially I remember my aunt. She was probably 40 or 50 years old before she figured out how to float in the swimming pool. You
Oh.
have to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Trust the water to
Yeah.
hold you up.
Yeah.
That was just, I've heard other people struggle with floating and just relaxing in the
Yeah.
water. Let
Yeah.
go.
Global problem right now who don't how to swim. So this is because one of my friends cannot swim. They're like very they trust their coach, but actually coach can do nothing for you because they're gonna be like out of the pool. So you have to help yourself by being in a confident trust the wall and water. Yeah, I feel like this. Okay, how has your work as a retirement coach influenced your perspective on aging and living with purpose?
Um, I think because I learned my essence the same time I retired was really valuable to me. But it and still and yet, once I wrote my essence statement, a spark on, I made a wall hanging of it, and um, I remember one day coming over to this corner and reading my essence statement 3 different times. And it finally dawned on me that when I was living from what matters to me, every day felt right. I felt like I was living from my core. You know, an apple has a core. and I was living from what what matters to me. How many times during the day are you doing things that don't matter to you?
Mhm.
But in retirement and with your essence or your inner spark, it's such a joy to live from what really matters to you. If it's helping dig wells for people in another country to have living water, then things that you're doing that makes that possible for them to have water or a school to go to class in, or maybe I have a goal to help young women attend college. I want to be giving out college scholarships because there's such a difference when you're living, when you have an education that helps you do and be your best and contribute to the world. And there's too many times that women don't have the resources to go to college, and I want to make a difference with them. So the purpose, okay, so my book, I have to tell you, Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment is kind of a do-it-yourself book for finding your purpose. I ask you at the end of every chapter some questions, and if you're doing the homework for action, then by the end of the book, you'll have lots of ideas come to mind, or you tried out that help you think that, oh, because I liked working with kids, and I like being outside, and I like playing in the sand, use all those keywords and put them into Google and ask Google, or now we have AI, what's a good occupation for somebody that likes to play with kids outdoors in the sand? And see what it tells you, because it might surprise you with what is possible. And so I consider this a do-it-yourself book, but some people can't handle do-it-yourself. They want you to do it with them. And we might have a class coming up for that here later on.
Okay.
And then there's people that say, oh, give me a course, I'll take your course, and I'll work it out from there. So I hope the purpose helps you live longer, helps you live more productively, helps you not be in the doctor's office so much, and it gives you satisfaction and meaning. And that sounds like a great life to me.
Yeah, for me too, because we can see a lot of rich people around us. I feel like they kind of don't have some kind of purpose in life because they already reached the dreams and goals they already been dreaming of, and they feel like they're like a lot of money they have, and they don't have any purpose. I feel like, because I saw that there's some kind of people like this in my atmosphere. So yeah. Thank you so much, Sharon. Appreciate it all. It was very good. It was very good. I think I have to, read about your books a lot. So I'm going to think about it. So I'm going to talk to you soon. So thank you so much. And I was very happy to have you here. Thanks for the time. Thanks for your effort, everything. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of our podcast. Please follow our social media, subscribe our YouTube channel, and they're all will be linked down below. So Sharon, if you have some kind of social medias to share with me, and I'm gonna put it to my description box, so they'll be there. So my audience. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I have YouTube videos as well, and on Instagram I am Sharon_Queen of Courage.
Okay. So guys, thank you so much for time to watch us here. So Sharon, appreciate it all. Thank you so much for your insights. I've learned a lot of there are a lot of things that we have to think about. So thank you so much for your everything you gave today for us. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
I love to help people think, so that's a success.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bless you.
See you next time then.